All right, guys, so Senator Josh Hawley has pissed off the left once again. And this time he's pissed them off big time, right? Big time, because he did the unthinkable, right? He committed the number one sin that you can't commit against the Democrat Party, which is to criticize a black woman, as Josh Hawley made some explosive allegations about Biden's Supreme Court judge nominee, Miss Ketanji Jackson. Okay, and the left didn't like that. They really didn't like that at all. And I'm gonna tell you, if you Google Josh Hawley and Ketanji Jackson, you're gonna be hard pressed to find any articles that are friendly to Josh Hawley when it comes to this subject. They literally are trying to obliterate this man over his substantive criticism of Judge Ketanji Jackson's record when it comes to being lenient on sex offenders, particularly those that involve children. Okay, and what Josh Hawley was focused on here is Judge Ketanji Brown's record of sentencing people below federal recommendation guidelines for specific sex offenses, mainly CP is what he's talking about. And everybody should know what I'm talking about when I say CP. I'm trying to keep this video as YouTube friendly as possible. Okay, so Josh Hawley basically released a long Twitter thread of him basically going through her opinions, things she wrote in the past, her sentences, her rulings, things like that, and basically saying, hey, I'm concerned that she's too soft on certain sex offenders, right? And he's bringing that to the light as this judge is about to be put under the microscope. She's about to go through her confirmation hearing, right? The same process that every single judge goes through before they're confirmed to the court, okay? But again, the left is outraged that Josh Hawley brought this up, right? Even though he's criticizing her record, okay? But instead of engaging in a debate about whether or not Josh Hawley's criticism is valid based off her record, no. Instead, they want to smear Josh Hawley as racist, and one liberal lunatic going as far as to accuse Josh Hawley of trying to get Judge Ketanji Jackson killed with his criticism. So before we get in that, I just want to let you guys know this video right here is a touchy subject, okay? So with that being said, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can do so using the links in the description below. You can support the Patreon, you support the PayPal, you support the merch. There are multiple ways to support the channel if you would like to do so, including getting yourself one of my signature racist mugs, which is a daily reminder of the 2022 definition of racist according to the left, which is anybody who disagrees with the Democrat Party. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this clip from Tiffany Cross and her frequent guest, who's an absolute nut job, Elie Mystal, accused Josh Hawley of being racist and wanting to have Judge Ketanji Jackson killed simply for criticizing her. Take a look.
I'm curious, Ellie, what do you anticipate to come out of these hearings? Because, you know, there are going to be people vying for a viral moment on the Republican side. And what would you say is the biggest challenge to Judge Jackson's confirmation, if any, given that Democrats have the majority?
The biggest challenge is her not getting up out of her chair and punching one of these fools in the mouth. Like, that's gonna be the hardest thing, because all they have for her right now is racism and disgusting innuendo. Like, they don't have anything on her record. She's been on the court for 9 years. She's been on a federal bench for 9 years. She's issued hundreds and hundreds of cases, and you do not hear substantive legal arguments about her actual decision-making process coming from these people. All they've got is the racism. They're going to go about the LSAT scores. Some of them are going to call her an affirmative action nominee. Some of them are going to ask her why she's not sad that good white people weren't considered for the job. Like, that's literally what they have. And then you have, you know, the Josh Hawley ridiculousness. But like, that's the challenge will just be keeping her cool, because if she keeps her cool, which I'm sure she will do, we're talking about, you know, a high school debate champion and, you know, a person who has like prepared her whole life for these 4 days. As long as she keeps her cool, she should do fine, because she's so eminently qualified and impeccably credentialed that they don't really have anything on her. The simplest thing for Republicans would be to kind of have a normal kind of above board hearing let her be confirmed so she doesn't change the balance of power of the court anyway, and go back to talking about the things that work for them, to go back to crying about gas prices or talking about Hunter Biden's laptop or whatever other thing counts as a Republican platform these days. Because she is going to be confirmed, and she is going to be well-liked while she's confirmed, and she's not going against her is kind of a waste of their time. But I don't want to let the Josh Hawley thing lie, because here's where I need the Democrats to step up. Because when they try to smear her, I need the Democrats to get up there and defend her just as vociferously as Lindsey Graham defended alleged attempted rapist Brett Kavanaugh. Like, I need that level of energy from the Democrats, especially when they come at her with this trumped up alleged issues about her sentencing on for sex offenders. Because what Josh Hawley is doing, let's be very clear. What Josh Hawley is doing when he tries to do this is he's trying to get her killed. He is trying to get violence done against a Supreme Court nominee.
Yeah, so I'm starting to think this guy, Elie Mystal, he just says the most outrageous things possible to get attention. It really doesn't work, except it does work with me, because I'm like, how can this dude say such outrageous things and be taken seriously? But in regards to the whole Twitter sphere and just celebrity in general, for all the outrageous things this guy says, he's not nearly as popular as he should be, right? He's not Joy Reid level, okay, for whatever reason. Again, maybe because people know that this has to be an act, okay? But let's get into the substance of what he's saying, because he's not really getting to the substance of what Josh Hawley's accusations are, which, in my opinion, is what he should have did instead of going on these silly attacks trying to accuse his man of trying to have a judge killed, which I think is just completely untrue, and he doesn't have any real evidence to back up that outrageous claim. Because I actually read the criticisms of Josh Hawley's criticisms of Judge Ketanji Jackson, and it kind of goes like this, right? There's actually some arguments here that has been made, and to say that, hey, Josh Hawley is accusing Judge Ketanji Jackson of being soft on CP because she sentences below federal recommendations. However, the argument is that, well, she's doing that because some of these people that are these offenders, a lot of them haven't proven to actually be violent against children. And I just want to make it clear, I'm talking about a certain class of offender here that consumes content, not produce it, but consumes content that they're not supposed to be consuming, okay? They're simply just non-violent offenders. And a lot of them, after they're sentenced and they come out, they don't actually really repeat, okay? They don't repeat at a very high rate, okay? These are non-violent offenders who aren't actually a real threat to society. And therefore, the sentencing that we currently have is too harsh. It's a lot more detailed than that, okay? And you guys can read about it, but I don't really want to touch on it too much because, again, this is already a sensitive topic. But that's the gist of what the counter argument against Josh Hawley is. And I'm not saying I endorse that argument, nor am I defending Judge Ketanji Jackson in her sentencing of these individuals. All I'm saying is that that is the argument, the substantive argument that is being made against Josh Hawley's claim. Okay, it's a whole legal thing about that, right? That you guys can read up on if you want to, which is something that this guy could have brought up. He should have brought up, right? It's considering a guy that thinks that he can write a better constitution than the constitution we have now. Why don't you just come on TV and simply say, Josh Hawley is wrong for X, Y, and Z reason, right? That's how you dispute this, okay? What you don't do is come up here and say that the dude's racist and he's trying to get somebody killed. When, again, if you want to make that argument, if you want to go there, then what you guys did to Brett Kavanaugh, I can make the same argument. Because we know how hard the left shows up for Me Too allegations. Matter of fact, we saw it. In fact, they stormed the Capitol. They stormed the Capitol doing Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation over the allegations that Democrats is making against this man. Allegations that were not proven, okay? So don't sit here and talk to me about, oh, he's calling for violence because he's criticizing her record, okay? Which is different than what you guys were criticizing. You was criticizing this man's personal life, some allegations that was made about the man back in college. That's what you guys was criticizing. Had nothing to do with his record as a judge. At the very least with Josh Hawley, say what you want. If you disagree with the man, fine, disagree with him. But he's criticizing her actual record, right? His criticisms are substantive to her actual job, okay? Now, whether, again, they're right or wrong, they're about the job. So don't sit here and come up here and try to accuse this man of trying to have somebody killed. Because, again, if you want to have that conversation, explain to me what happened with Brett Kavanaugh, right? Again, every single time there's a Supreme Court nominee that the GOP nominates, look what y'all did to Amy Coney Barrett, okay? I mean, you have people out here accusing her of adopting black children because she's racist, right? She adopted black children as trophies, right? That's the argument that it was making, okay? It's artifact, like the white man used to do back in the day, okay? When they wanted to flex their status and their wealth, they just go adopt black children, right? That was the argument that people like Emerald X Kendi was making, okay? I mean, you have people out here questioning her womanhood because of her stance on abortion, right? So Democrats, when Republicans and the GOP nominate their Supreme Court judges, it's fair game to attack their character, okay? It's fair game to say whatever you want about them, regardless of whether or not it has to do with their job or their opinions or anything like that. But lo and behold, Josh Hawley comes out here and makes a criticism of a woman based off her actual job, what she's done. Ain't got nothing to do with her skin color, ain't got nothing to do with what's between her legs, ain't got nothing to do with that. It simply has to do with what she's done as a judge. And oh my God, these people are losing their minds. They're literally losing their minds. I'm telling you. But again, this is what I'm talking about, man. You can't criticize certain people in this society, right? He criticized a black woman, so therefore he's trying to get her killed. That's basically what Elie Mystal is arguing here. That's what it comes down to, right? And then he wants to talk about, well, they're going to accuse her of being an affirmative action judge. Well, at the end of the day, don't blame the GOP if they accuse her of being an affirmative action judge. Blame Joe Biden because he told us that she was an affirmative action judge, okay? When people come out here and question her credentials, people questioning them because Biden said, I'm nominating somebody based off their skin color and what's between their legs. He didn't say he wanted the most qualified individual. That's not what he said. He told you that he was nominating somebody based off affirmative action. So when people come out here and question her qualifications, yeah, that is legitimate, right? Even though she may be very well qualified for the job, okay? From everything I've heard, she's very qualified, but it doesn't mean there's no criticisms, right? At the very least, the criticisms of her aren't things about her personal life. The only people that criticize her personal life is the left, because there's been criticism of the fact that she's married to a white man, which have been criticisms that come from the left, okay? Because people on the right don't really give a damn about that. Okay. So again, people like this guy, man, he just really, he pisses me off because it's clear he makes these claims. He says these outrageous things simply to be saying it. And not because he has any evidence to back up any of these claims. He's just saying it for attention and it's not even really working, right? It just pisses me off. That's why I make videos about it. But I'm about to stop making videos about it because he doesn't even deserve the attention. Nobody who makes claims like this deserves the attention because people on the right could have made the same claims about the left when it came to Brett Kavanaugh, but people don't do that because that's irresponsible. It is irresponsible to come out here and to say that people are trying to have people killed for criticizing their record. That's ridiculous. No, I would never say that. Nobody would ever say that is a sane, responsible person. But again, you have some people on the left that are not sane and responsible. They just simply want to say the most outrageous thing possible to stay relevant, right? And that ain't even working for them. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.